And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Blockchain Talk. Now, in today's episode, I will talk about one of the fundamentals to Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency market, which is the Bitcoin halving cycles, and, well, do a little word about market predictions, what to watch out for, and how trends generally work within the cryptocurrency market. Before I do that, I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and we are going to take a look at the current state of the market. What you're seeing here is my trading view. This is what occurred to Bitcoin on the monthly. There we go. So this is December. Since the beginning of this year, you can see we are in a very nice uptick. Some people would see this chart and say, oh, look, we are back. There is a bull run beginning. Now, as many of you know, I'm the kind of guy who always says, try to zoom out to see the trend. Going out a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put it on 6 months. And what do we see here? Zooming in, adjusting a little bit. And you can see this is June 2020. It's the 3 arrows capital correction, sideways trading, a little bit of volatility. This is where FTX occurred, crashed down, and actually since January this year, the bullish sentiment which is ruling the cryptocurrency market, by which we are going up again, is nothing more than a delayed reaction to the FTX crash, a backup relief towards previous levels. As you guys can see, we are back at trading levels from around June, July, August of 2020. So there's some relief. Does this mean the bull run has started? In my opinion, no. In order for the bull run to start, you will need to have a major event occurring, at a mainstream adoption that suddenly swings into full swing, or something like Bitcoin halving. More on that later. In any case, what you do need to learn and understand is we are now back at previous trading levels of, well, let's just say since about here, I'm going to say August up until early November 2020. So these are the sideways trading things, and you will see there will be a few ups and downs, but you can adjust that. Probably low resistance level is going to be at or near the 18K zone, and new resistance levels going to be at around 23K. Active traders would have noticed each time we reach 23K, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, or slightly went above, there's a heavy rejection, selling movement, and we get back towards here somewhere. Seems here is resistance level, is support level 22K, but I might say 18K really is the lower zone. Zoom out again, and then let's head on over towards the main subject of today. Today we are going to talk about Bitcoin cycles, or cryptocurrency market cycles, and market predictions. Now, let us begin with market predictions. With market predictions, well, things are more in gray than they are black and white. With that, I want to say that a lot of people have a faint idea where things will be going to, but they do not really know how high or how low they will be. For that, I'm going to start resharing my screen here, and I'm going to show a few tweets of a well-known influencer, and, well, give you guys a little bit of insight on the rights and wrongs. So this, as you guys know, BitBoy Crypto, little tweet from, when was it? 2 days ago. If you don't grow and get better in 2 years, then you aren't doing it right. 21 months, and people still didn't bring this tweet up. It's how obsessed people are with me, so it's a little bit of trumping his own horn. And this is a little tweet he made from April 21. Said it once and I'll say it again. I'm still confident that Bitcoin will never go again below 47K. Now, as you guys know, and I'm going to switch quickly, head on over here. I'm going to readjust it a little bit. Somewhere here. April 21. So the tweet was made, was it 23rd of April 21? It's about here somewhere. Here. Right about here. And we were back then at a 50K zone. And naturally, as you could see, there was a little bit of correction. We went back up towards new all-time highs later on in November before major corrections happened, and we are currently here. How wrong is the prediction? Well, point in case, he was quite wrong, especially if you consider it within these limits, well, in these confines of the tweets you see. He was plain wrong. But what is the positive aspect? Well, for that, you need to understand that despite it being made in April, in reality, we reached a new all-time high. Now, going below 47K, it was obvious that wouldn't occur. However, BitBoy and any other crypto influencer doesn't really make his money with cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, but through selling a variety of services and, well, shilling a variety of altcoins for fiat money, for payments, etc., etc. So his predictions won't always be correct. However, why did he mention we won't be seeing it below 47K? Well, it all has to do with Bitcoin cycles and reaching all-time highs. If you are very deep into charts and technical analysis, you would see that this double top, which was created, was kind of odd, especially when compared to previous cycles. You had one clear, very first high top, and then a lower second. This time it was inverted. For him, that was a sign to say, look, there's another all-time high coming in. He was correct. It occurred here in November. It didn't go as high as many planned, because I still remember back in those days, about 2 years ago, plenty of people said Bitcoin will go to 100K. It never did, and simply collapsed here. Simply corrected here. This was the all-time high. But the major sentiment remained. This, when he made a tweet, was too early to say, look guys, it's going down back again. We've had our all-time high. No, in reality, new all-time high was to be established, and he was, well, mentioning the support here. 47K is quite a precise number to say, so obviously he's going to be wrong on that occasion. Now, next up. This is from 3 days ago. I watched the end of 2021. A bad believing Bitcoin would hit 100K, so there's an admittance. I got tracked. Other people got tracked, but I've nailed Bitcoin for a year straight afterwards. A lot of lessons were learned during 2021 that'll keep with me forever. Now, these two relies on cycles once again. To zoom out a little bit, this is the cycle that occurred. And if I move towards 2018, what do we see if he wants to load it up? Come on. There we go. If we go towards 2018, this is approximately the same scale. I've just moved it around a little bit. You can see that he probably made his prediction somewhere here. That's the second top. It went down, and as you can tell, botching up late 2021 as perhaps a shift of a few months, but here too the market corrected, and you can clearly see it even better here. This entire zone was the bear market of 2018, 2019. So that's what occurred, and that's basically what we saw here. Prediction here, and he knew at the end of 2021, the game was up and heavy corrections were inbound. That's knowing your cycles, but simply not being precise enough to predict the market 100% correctly. So in a sense, he's got a point. Now, the lots of hate he gets, and, well, the kind of bullshit I'm frequently climbing out upon has more to do with his specific claims of 100K. As you guys can tell, he admitted he made a mistake. That 47K, we'll never see Bitcoin below it, etc. That's all false hope, false hype. what you want to do is to know where things go. And it's always better to avoid concrete numbers by mentioning them. That's some traders' advice. You will always have to see in which range we are fluctuating. And this is something a lot of you guys will probably have noticed in my Blockchain Talks episode. And I always talk about trading range. And I say, okay, we're going sideways, there's an upper limit, there's a down limit, etc. By reason, each time I'm doing a little bit of a technical analysis, it is a shot at a moment. And I'm not trying to predict how the markets will move. I'm mostly saying how they are at a moment and what possible trends I am seeing. And this makes my predictions, well, actually spot on. By reason, they tend to behave within the confines of the ranges that I mentioned for the time being. And sometimes they break. I'm wrong. I will freely admit to that. Other influencers tend to censor their tweets. An example, feels good to have called the bottom in November for almost a year. Receipts galore on this. That's one of the callouts I made. We spoke with a very high level officer of a major cryptocurrency project, and let me tell you, money about to flow. And yeah, so he's trumping his own horn. As you guys can see, there is no real data being provided, just a vague reference. However, it's one of the reasons why I started calling him out. This is one of the tweets he made back then. I mean, this, you were way off. Yes, it is screenshotted. Tendency to delete tweets, which he does on a frequent basis. Still sticking with my Bitcoin bottom call, 10K to 14K by the end of November, first week of December. As you guys can see, I'm going to zoom in. November, December. Oh. Slide a little bit more. That's the week. November. First week, December, November, tweet made in July, so much earlier. However, as you guys can see, there was indeed a crash, but early November, not late November. And he was proclaiming this here. This is the FTX crash, which he himself didn't see for coming, but larped quite a lot into it. Should be noted, we never reached the 10K or 14K zone. We remained nicely above at 15 up to 16K. So he was way off. It was plain wrong. Does that mean he was wrong in the grander scheme of things? Not exactly. His predictions were off with the timing, that's correct, and with the range. However, the major sentiment was another correction was to occur. However, back in July, most people expected something to go down as well. In the months of July, August, October, September, there were plenty of exchanges running into trouble. There were risks of layoffs, etc., etc. So you could easily make a prediction by saying, look, guys, Bitcoin has the potential to go lower. And this is just one of the examples where he said, look, bottom's going to be in at that period of time. Not really. What you also need to understand is the organic movements of Bitcoin. You guys can tell November, December, you can see low volume, relatively steady. It's only since, let's say, early January that we are heading back up, that there's finally some relief. What's the reason for it? Well, that also makes part of the Bitcoin cycle, I'm going to say, with Bitcoin trading. The months of November and December, well, those are periods of festivities. Not many people are actively trading, as well as, especially as he called it out, by the end of November, first week of December, plenty of companies are also filling in their taxes. And they will be selling off a variety of assets and buying them back for the next year. That is why there was such a low trading volume. That's why his prediction was more or less correct, that the bottom will be made by then. He didn't foresee FTX or anything at all. Naturally, he tries to push the narrative that way, but in reality, there are other pointers which are more organic and natural, such as a variety of investment companies and a variety of traders like myself selling off assets only to buy them back in January for tax purposes. A simple thing that you guys need to understand. Anyway, let's talk about market cycles. And yes, this is probably a page you guys have seen me posting a few times already and mentioning on social media, but it is one of the fundamentals to Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. And I will keep on posting these with necessary updates as time progresses, adding a little bit more of information, etc. But this is actually as complete as you can go. Written in April last year, supply and demand, halvings and supply shocks. Let's run through it. Many of you know those BTC and all other cryptocurrencies at base level function on the simple economic premise of supply and demand. These make halving events so important. A halving event is about rewards from mining being slashed in half, meaning that after such an event, only half of the newly created coins will enter the market. Many PoE-based coins, proof-of-work-based coins such as Ravencoin or Bitcoin, have these halving events. That enables a supply shock to take place. Now, to reward it, what is a halving or a halvening? Well, as you guys know, Bitcoin is being mined at a fixed rate. Currently, that's going to be 3.125 Bitcoin every 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes when every new block is being created. However, when a halving takes place, with the next one being in May 2024, what happens is, well, mining will still continue, but the rewards per block will go down. They will be slashed in half. So starting from May 2024, it will no longer be 6.25, it will be 3.125 newly Bitcoin hitting the markets. And this creates a supply shock, which is very important and which gives rise to a bull run as markets start to adjust on the freshly minted supply hitting the markets. That's what a halving is about, and that's the halving event. Bitcoin is the most dominant coin. I believe it's still at around 40% of the entire market. Yeah, it has a 40.6% dominance currently, and probably will remain so for a longer while. It may fluctuate. It may go somewhere near 30%, as with each cycle, new coins are hitting the markets, and so the market gets more fractured. With that, I mean everything's based on market cap, but the more coins you have, they all demand a very small percentage offset market, which starts eating up money from the total pie, I'm going to say. But in any case, that's something slightly more complicated to explain. That's for my courses. Anyway, it is at the front of the market. Whatever it does, the entire market will follow. In 2020, did its fourth halving take place? Through previous cycles, we do know how markets will behave. Rundown can be found here. That's the next one up. To understand Bitcoin and all of its fundamental movements is to understand how people behave, the organic aspect. I mentioned this earlier when taking a look at this graph. Naturally, you guys can see, okay, this is the FTX crash, but why didn't a movement like this, like we had in the last couple of weeks, didn't occur straight after? Well, it all has to do with timing. Early November, December, those are period of festivities. As you guys can see, there was low trading volumes. Not much was being traded, and there was even a sell-off by reason festival period, Christmas, New Year, etc., etc. Less people were involved with trading or active trading, so there wasn't a real movement to correct upwards. That is an example of an organic aspect to Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. You can also see it during summer period, where plenty of people go on vacation. Many students, well, at least here in Europe, where school's out, summer vacations, etc. And you might see typically around that time a little peak occurring, a little more relief occurring. By reason, students and other folks who are on vacation have more time to actively trade, to get involved with the cryptocurrency market. Previous cycles, this was the case, and you could always see a little bump around that period, and afterwards a little bit of correction, depending on how the economy was and how markets reacted. So that's the organic aspect to it. How market works, which influences the first. With that, I want to say there's the organic aspect, but there's also market trends. And with that, market trends, you really need to take a look at macro level on the entire TradFi market. With that, I want to say how are a variety of stocks doing? The recession, is there hyperinflation going on, etc., etc. And typically, the organic aspect is reliant on the total market on itself. If the entire market is crashing down, well, you can expect some movement on Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency market going on. This has to do with cryptocurrency being a high-risk asset with lots of volatility. And depending on the sentiments in the market, you will see that Bitcoin can suddenly be seen as a savior, which will give rise to a bullish sentiment with an increased value at certain conditions. And that's something which occurred November, December. That's something which certainly occurred with the Terra Luna crash. They saw it as a high risk, and there were major sell-offs. So there was a bullish phase, and more people jumped onto it and started selling more, which pressured it downwards. What scarcity is and the shocks related to it comes down to supply and demand. How many is available? How much demand is there? Simple as that. What cycles are, meaning at what stage of market reaction to the halving is. First 3 points can be deduced by keeping pulse on the latest news of the economy. Economy goes bad, everything goes bad. Bitcoin now has many derivatives, futures and ETFs for trading. A lot of speculation is now being done by no-coiners. They can leverage the market, as evidenced by FTX. They had plenty of paper Bitcoin. This correction wasn't as severe by reason they didn't really dump Bitcoin. It was paper Bitcoin being sold off together with plenty of other altcoins and shitcoins. So that's one of the things that occurred. Now, with the ongoing bear market, which occurred last year, a lot of derivatives, futures and ETFs, well, they got shorted and went down. They got shaken out. It is important what the global economy is doing. Printing dollars has an effect on Bitcoin value. Trade wars have an effect. Tension and wars have an effect on Bitcoin. Mainstream adoption have an effect on Bitcoin. I refer towards the inflation which is going on worldwide, which is one of the reasons why Bitcoin is as resilient as it is. Trade wars have an effect on Bitcoin, meaning it can be seen as alternative money. And to that, I refer towards the Russian-Ukraine war, whereby Bitcoin and cryptocurrency took more or less a central role as being non-censorable money. I even refer towards COVID, back when there were the trucker protests in Canada, whereby Bitcoin was quite a savior for many of them to keep on protesting and, well, having their voices heard, while governments were closing down bank accounts of the truckers and trying to force them to work again. So that's one of the reasons why I say trade wars, tensions, and war. Naturally, Russia-Ukraine. You can look it up, Russia-Ukraine, Bitcoin. You will see plenty of legislation suddenly being pushed as a result of the war. Mainstream adoption having an effect on Bitcoin, so the more popular it is, generally pushed by its higher value during bull runs or, well, market highs. Pandemic, fake or real, has an effect on Bitcoin. Already mentioned it. So what you need to understand is that Bitcoin and the entire crypto markets work in cycles. Cycles are initiated by events concerning supply on the most important and dominant coins in the market, most major ones being Bitcoin halvings as predicted. And now I'm going to give a little overview of previous halvings, and you will see that there are quite a lot of similarities. First halving occurred 28th of November 2012. That's the block number, that's a reward. BTC created 3,600, per day. BTC price started at 12. 100 days later, more than, well, it almost went times 4. BTC price 1 year later, much higher. This is pre-hype. Well, this is market settling. This is the actual bull run. Bitcoin halving 2016. Highly anticipated, month before the halving, led to a noticeable price increase that began at the end of May, a month and a half before the halving, if I'm not mistaken. And in April, it gave way to a correction, continued again. So text above here is quite important. And you will see that each time there is something called a pre-halving hype, some relief that is going on. After corrections, after a bear market, etc. Short-term correction, bullish trend soon continued and developed into exponential growth. This was from 2016. And this gave rise to the bull run of 2018. There's always something which works in 2 years. July 2016, and the bull run was 2017, 2018, almost a year later. Bitcoin halving 2020 took place May 2020. The previous Bitcoin halving did not cause an immediate price increase, as well as, important note, it's true that growth began on earlier halving dates at the beginning of the year, but coronavirus crisis that started in March caused Bitcoin's price to collapse. It's still even more difficult to assess how much the halving is already factored into the price. Yada, 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 yada. And as you guys know, these are things that we see. Summed up, price increase before the halving, correct. Correction right after the halving, by reason it is a hyped up event. So a lot of money is being pumped into it just to hype it up. Afterwards, well, it happened, but the market still has, well, to trade off the reserve being built over time. It's not something that takes place immediately. The balancing of the markets takes time, about a year or so. It's one of the reasons why I set to and highlighted here Bitcoin halving 12/12/2016. There's always a year in delay, which also occurred with the halving in 2020. Correction after halving, price after a while will increase to a new all-time high, which is the case if you take a very good look at the halving events here. BTC price at start of the halving, $1,242.964, increased. 2016, 663, 609, there was a little correction, but 2K and a half. 2020, what did we have? BTC at the start, 8,700, 11,950. Bitcoin price, 1 year later, we were at 69K all-time high. You guys can tell there's always a noticeable upward trend. So from that, this can be deduced. It's one of the reasons why during a bear market, there are times where you can start accumulating. It's a little shill here. If you want to learn more about cryptocurrency and trading, I have my very own crypto guide. Sorry, my computer is mining at the same time. Yeah, a little bit of a shill for my own product, but as you guys know, a lot of my information is freely available. Another article, actions recommended by Bitcoin's decade-old cycle, because Bitcoin is about 14 years old. Bitcoin is following through its decade-old halving cycle and has completed 4 out of 5 predicted sequence of events in a bear market. It's been written June 15th. Let's now make a choice on when to complete it. Yada, yada, yada. So let's head on over towards bear market. There's a reversal pattern, 50% decline from peak, which occurred. Rebound back to 20% from peak and now decline to 70%, bottom out at approximately 85 from peak. And if I were to go on the yearly, you can clearly see it occurred. It is now 66.9. However, if I go like this, you will be close towards the 85%. It doesn't show up here. So the bottom is in. The little analysis, Bitcoin position and current cycle imperfections. As you guys can see, this is a little image from TradingView showing the 4 stages of Bitcoin halving cycle. And currently, we are in the blue zone. You guys can tell. So this is approximately first halving. You see a lot of upward movement. So this is the halving in 2012. Upward movement, reach the top. Corrections, that's the bear market. For some time being, sideways trading becomes more obvious here. Pre-hype when the halving occurs, generally somewhere here. The previous halving occurred, that's 2016. Sideways trading once again, and then the bull run initiates. You have up, bear market, sideways trading, approximately halving. This is Corona which occurred, so can actually negate this red line. Sideways trading, halving occurred, went up, bear market. Here the things aren't really up to point. This stop should actually be in the green zone, so it should be a little bit bigger. But as you guys can tell, bear market crash, and now currently we are trading sideways. Afterwards, sideways trading, still you can expect some volatility going on, perhaps some relief. I've mentioned it in plenty of social media tweets and in my Telegram groups, etc. What you can expect is some relief towards 30 or 40k levels, to 30k levels at least by the end of this year. 40k perhaps with the pre-hype of the halving, and as you guys can see here, 2016, or was it, is the halving occurs, sideways trading. 2016 is the most clean one, I dare say, most clean one, and then we have uptick and the bull run being initiated. This one's a bit dirty with thanks to Corona. As you guys can see, the trends remain more or less the same. And those are the 4 phases. Let's dig on deeper into it. Can always be explained as a little bit of a roller coaster. Let's talk here. First phase is accumulation phase. Is the first phase of every market cycle. It starts at the end of the previous cycle when sellers have exited the market and prices are perceived to begin stabilizing, which, for your information, is now, ever since, like that, a bit bigger, since approximately July 22. That's the accumulation phase that we are currently in. Not financial advice, just a heads up. It's the accumulation phase. This phase, the market volume is typically lower than average as interest in the markets remains low. It is very low, I can guarantee that one. Therefore, no clear trend emerges and assets typically trade within a tight range, which is currently the case. Consolidation phase. Then we have the markup phase, referred to as the bull market phase. Markup phase is when the market moves higher in price at an increasing rate. In markup phase, new groups of market participants enter the market, yada, yada, yada. When does this occur? Well, typically a month and a half or even 2 months before the actual halving. Then you have sideways trading, and then you have this markup phase, meaning bull run. Characteristics: market sentiment is dominated by optimism and excitement, uptrending, increasing trading volume, favorable economic conditions. And then these are the phases we just went out of. Distribution phase. At some point after a bull run, some buyers become sellers. It's a distribution phase where the buyers and sellers in the market are at an equilibrium. One side, there are market participants who are still looking to buy as they have confidence that the bull market isn't over. On the other side are sellers looking to lock in their profit. This creates tension between bulls and bears. While this phase of the market still sees high trading volume, as prices generally fluctuate within a limited range until either the bulls or bears surrender. You can clearly see it here, especially if I do it like this. Hang on a second. Something went awry. Yeah, that's recently. Damn it. I'm going to take trading view. Sorry, guys. I'm going to say 1 year. These are the charts, and I'm going to start zooming in. There we go. This is the distribution phase. So here was the all-time high. Sorry, no. Am I right? Yeah, sorry, here was the all-time high. And then here began the distribution phase, lasted approximately until May 2022. That's distribution phase. Afterwards, and that's the final phase, the markdown phase or the bear market, which is, as can be seen here, this entire zone. This is the first major sell-off. So if I were to draw a trend line, perhaps if I start zooming out a little bit like this, you can see here this distribution, high volumes. This was the first crash. This actually was a clear sign of bear markets, sideways trading. 40K, 30K went down, especially here, bear market. And then we slowly entered the bear market. So this is the bear market ever since it went below here, bear market. That was the final straw. And this was the accumulation phase. We are now back at the uptick phase. And that's how Bitcoin cycles and how the entire cryptocurrency market cycles. Once again, you can see it here. Accumulation, pre-halving. Halving occurs somewhere earlier, somewhere here, let's say. Markup a little bit. Actual markup with perhaps a few tops that can be created. There's a distribution, generally indicated by a trend line that you can draw horizontally, which is approximately your trading range. Sometimes can go up higher, sometimes can go lower, but as you can tell, sideways trading as evidenced here, part of the markdown. And the markdown is the offset of the distribution phase, but with heavy corrections and sideways trading, meaning we are slowly entering, once again, accumulation phase up until the halving, whereby markups occur. And that, gentlemen, is how the Bitcoin market, how Bitcoin cycles work and how the cryptocurrency market actually cycles on a 4-year cycle. That's how it functions. So with that, I'm going to say thank you guys for watching. I hope this was quite intriguing to you and that you learned something about fundamentals to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market. And I'm going to say up until next time, which is tomorrow, where I'll be doing once again a live technical and fundamental analysis of another crypto blockchain project. Naturally, if you want to support me, links down below in the comments. Please like, subscribe. You guys know the drill. Up until next time. Bye.